Good morning dear student. Today let's have discussion on the next topic of your class 11th accountancy, that is subsidiary books. So before we could start, what is subsidiary books? Before we could start, what kind of types you are going to see in the subsidiary book? You should know what actually we are going to segregate as subsidiary book is. So segregation in the sense, subsidiary books broadly majorly classified again into two types. So what kind of those types in the sense? Number one is cash book, the another one is credit books. So subsidiary book is consist of, it is going to be segregated based on cash books and credit books. So before we could start types of cash books and credit books, you should know what is actually a cash book and when we call it as them as credit books. So cash books are those, the transaction which we are going to enter in the books of account if any transaction occurred between customer and seller on the basis of cash. Say for example, when we are talking about cash book, you went to shop, you people are going to purchase one particular unit. When you people are purchasing any product from the seller, you should give the cash. If you are giving the cash, then if you are purchasing, for that we call it as cash based transaction, because seller will not give freely any kind of product if you are going and purchasing in the shop. For that you are supposed to give cash, then only he will give the product. But some of the transaction in some shop, what happens is, customer will be well known to the shopkeeper or the vendor. What they will do, based on that trust, based on that faith, based on that business ethics, he may give sometime on the basis of credit also. So if any seller, if any vendor is giving goods and services on the basis of credit, it means he is giving you goods, but for that he is not collecting the cash. He is not taking money from you. For those transactions we are calling as credit transaction. But in future you will pay the cash, but at present when you people are purchasing the goods, if you are not giving the cash, for those transactions we are calling it as credit transaction. So when we are talking about subsidiary books, again it is broadly classified as number one cash book, purchase book, purchase return book, sales return book, bills payable book, bills receivable book, and at the end journal proper book. So these all, each and every book is telling you that. Say for example, if you take cash book, cash book is very easy, it's like a ledger. You might have been, remember we prepared in the ledger. So ledger, what we had done, we took all the transaction which is related to cash, exactly opposite to the cash, what was existed, that we have taken and we entered. So same way here also, in cash book we are entering those transactions which is occurred on the basis of cash, not credit. They will give in the question to check your knowledge whether you people know about cash or credit or not. What they will give, they will give the transaction, it is on the credit. You are not supposed to take that transaction which is occurred on the basis of credit. So you are going to take transaction, you are going to consider those transactions which is occurred on the basis of cash in the book of cash book. So subsidiary book is that book where original entries are going to be recorded by the accountant on the basis of two things, on the basis of two mode. Number one is cash, another one is credit. So to enter the cash related transaction, we have a book name called cash book. To enter the transaction which is occurred on the basis of credit, we are going to enter in the purchase book. If any purchase entry on the basis of credit occurred, sales book is that book which is occurred on the basis of credit. If you have done the selling but you didn't receive the cash, it is sales book related entry. Second, then the fourth thing is purchase return book. If any purchase return entries have done on the basis of credit also, you are taking in purchase return book. Sales return book is meant for to enter the transaction which is related to on the basis of credit. So same way, apart from cash book, remaining all purchase, sales, purchase return, sales return, bills payable book, bills receivable book, and journal proper book, these all books have maintained by the accountant to enter the transaction which is related to credit. So keep it in your mind, I am stressing the word cash, credit, cash, credit. Cash entry is that entry which is occurred, the transaction which is occurred on the basis of cash. It means you paid cash, you purchased goods. But whereas credit transaction is that transaction Credit books are those books where you purchased a good, you didn't pay cash for it, but you are going to pay in the future. But at present, on the spot, you did not pay any penny on particular product which you purchased from the shopkeeper or the vendor. So here two things will come which is important when it comes to cash book and credit book. So subsidiary book, I hope I am clear, but when we are talking about subsidiary books, dear children, go through the formats. Formats are very important because when we are talking about format, purchase book to sales book, purchase return book to sales return book, things will differ. So if you want to match the things, if you want to see the things are going to be entered by the accountant, it should be stable from one account to another account. Format should be thorough with you people. So if you see the lesson, in that proformas are given. If you want, I will send you in the PDF file also, no issue. But format you people go through it. Remaining all very easy. Only you need to segregate the transaction, then you are supposed to enter the transaction in the books of account. So these are the books which is important as a part of subsidiary books. Just I am going to repeat once again all the books. Cash book, it is a book where we enter business transaction in a systematic manner which is occurred on the basis of cash, where you paid the cash, you purchased the goods. Purchase book is that book where we enter the transaction related on the basis of credit. If any purchasing activity done by you on the basis of credit, you purchased the goods, you didn't pay you didn't pay cash for it. Same way, sales book is that book where you sold the goods but you didn't receive the cash. So same way, the transaction which is related to sales, if you sold the goods, you did not receive the cash for it, as a vendor point of view you should think, as a seller point of view you should think. Now question will come, ma'am, how to think and how to act while passing the entries? If you ask me, all the things which you journalize, all the books which we prepare in the books of account as a part of account, think as a business point of view. Think as a seller point of view, think as a owner point of view, then it will be very easy for you people to segregate the entries in the books of account. When it comes to purchase book and sales book, so their proforma differs from debit voucher to credit vouchers. So debit voucher and credit voucher, they will give seller and customer point of view. So voucher number you might have known very well, the invoice number, voucher number, it is the number which will be printed on the slip which will be issued by the seller to the customer as a referral copy, as a reference copy. Tomorrow if any good got damaged or if you have any problem with the particular goods which you purchased already by the vendor, if you should have proof. Voucher is what? It is one proof, it is one document which is representing behalf of you, yes, I purchased so and so goods from so and so person. So that way you can tell, you can prove yourself, I purchased goods from so and so shop, so and so person on so and so rupees. So that you can have confidently, you can show to the people and you can purchase the goods and services from the respective seller, respective vendor from whom you people purchased. And when it comes to cash account, when it comes to cash book, again there you can see three important segregation. Number one is simple cash book, double column cash book, petty cash book. All the things we will go again in detail with the numericals. But today is the introduction class on the subsidiary book. Only you need to keep it in your mind what kind of books will come, what is the segregation. It is done on the basis of cash and credit. That you need to keep it in your mind. Again when we go to cash books, again cash books are broadly classified into three books. Broadly classified into three books. Number one is simple column cash book, and also we can call it a single column cash book, double column cash book and petty cash book. In single or simple column cash book, why we call it as, see, name itself is saying, what name itself is saying? Name itself is saying that, telling you that amount column will be one, single, simple. Only one amount column will have debit and credit the side where we enter the business transaction in a systematic manner with a given amount. So rest all same thing, you will enter 2 by all the entries, then at the end you will do the carry down of totaling both the side, then you will identify balancing figure in the respective account. So next thing is the next book, next account which is a part of cash book is double column cash book. Double column cash book is that cash book where you will see two important amount columns comparatively single column cash book, because name itself is telling you that double column. Which is double column? Amount columns will be double. Even debit side you will have two, credit side also you will have two. So where you will enter the transaction which is given in the question, whether it is occurred on the basis of cash, whether it is occurred on the basis of bank. Payment I am talking. If you are paying cash, cash entry. If you are paying through the bank, bank related entry. So that way we will do the segregation. So see in the question, see in the entry whether transaction occurred on the basis of cash or transaction it occurred on the basis of bank, that you should see, and you should reflect the entry in the particulars column. So that way you need to keep it in your mind. And the third book which is a part of cash book is petty cash book. Petty cash book is that cash book where it is nor a part of cash, neither a part of simple or double. Why? In the sense, petty cash book name itself is saying petty in the sense small, very small expenses which take place in the organization. Say for example, you may ask me what kind of small expenses will come in the organization, ma'am. Pen, pencil, eraser, which is related to office equipment. Sometimes you may pay for postage, conveyance, for transportation, for refreshment. All small expenses which cannot be entered, which cannot be considered as a part of cash book, those all we are showing, those all we are entering in the petty cash book, because petty cash book is meant to enter, it is prepared to enter the small expenses which is related to company. So example, postage, telegram, conveyance, bus fare, refreshment, registers, pen, marker, ink and all those stuffs which cannot be part of, which cannot be considered as a part of simple or double, we are considering as petty cash book. So petty cash is nothing but which is kept aside out of all the expenses to utilize for these expenditures. We are going to spend from the petty amount only. So that is the reason when it comes to cash book, again it is classified into three. Number one, simple or single double column cash book, petty cash book. For your syllabus only you can see three books, but when it comes to when you go ahead with the degrees and other things and all, you will be seeing the different types of account. But when it comes to cash book only, you will see, only you will have three main segregation. Number one, single column cash book, double column cash book, and at finally petty cash book. So my dear children, I hope I am clear with the today's introductory class. Again we will go in the further classes, online classes in detail on the particular respective topic. Cash book one class, single column cash book one class, double and all things we will go ahead. Then you will understand how actually it differs from one to another. So if you have any query, just feel free to ask me and get clarity regarding your query. We will meet in the next class. Till that time, bye children.